All right, I think some students are still joining us. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our Get Ready for the FSE Fellowship Application webinar today. I know we still have more students to join us, but while we are waiting for our students, I would want to have Gabby and Julie from FSE Scholarships Office to do a very brief introduction about themselves, and then we can get started.
Hey. Hi, everyone. My name is Julie Werner. I am the Assistant Director of Scholarships and Fellowships at the Fulton Schools of Engineering, and I'll be presenting today along with Gabby.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gabby Beltran. I'm a specialist senior working with Fulton Schools of Engineering Scholarships and Fellowships. Again, here today to inform you all about our Fulton Fellowship process and other just general tips as well.
Okay, so as you all know that the application portal has already opened yesterday. So while Gabby and Julie, they are doing the presentation, I want you to focus on the presentation itself so you can get all the information you need, because I know you have questions. So please hold our questions until we are done with the presentation. Maybe some of your questions will be answered in the next slide, but after the presentation, if you have any questions, there's a Q&A session on Zoom. So please feel free to put your question in the Q&A and we will be monitoring the questions there. But while they're doing the presentation, please just focus on the presentation itself. Thank you. All right, Gabby, here you go.
So actually, I'll kick us off today. Is that right, Gabby? Okay. So again, hi everyone. Today we're going to walk you through some strategies to help you make the most of your scholarship search and the application process. So let's talk about why scholarships matter. So when students first begin applying for scholarships, they often have questions like, where do I start? How do I find opportunities that apply to me? And how do I best use my time when there are so many opportunities and can be so overwhelming? So despite all these common questions and concerns, we strongly encourage students to apply for scholarships each year. Today's workshop is designed to help answer those questions and guide you through the process. So applying for scholarships offers several important benefits. First off, scholarships or fellowships can expand your networking opportunities. For example, students who receive a Fulton Schools of Engineering specific scholarship are invited to our donor appreciation breakfast every February, where they can connect directly with their scholarship donors. And many of these donors are professionals working in engineering fields and making giving you a valuable opportunity to sort of build a connection with them, as well as other Fulton Schools students. Secondly, scholarships can provide you with additional educational funding, which obviously is going to be really helpful. And while scholarships can help cover tuition, they may also be applied to housing, meal plans, and other education-related expenses. So this additional funding can be really helpful as you plan ahead for the coming year. Finally, scholarships can help you strengthen your resume or your cover letter, and receiving an engineering scholarship can especially be beneficial when you're applying for graduates, it's not for graduate school, but for other opportunities, for positions outside. And for all these reasons, we encourage you to apply for a fellowship. So here's a brief overview of our award data from the most recent cycle. So for the current academic year, the average Fulton Fellowship Award was approximately $2,500. However, these award amounts can vary widely, ranging from $400 to $11,000. So you never know quite what you're going to be eligible for unless you apply. Last year, we awarded approximately 350 awards, and our goal is to distribute funding across the various majors, academic levels, and student backgrounds. So based on the criteria of each fellowship, so that as many students as possible can receive support. So what we'll cover in today's presentation is fellowship search tips and timeline. So what time frame we're looking at, an overview of fellowships that we have and ASU Scholarship Universe, as well as constructing a winning essay for your application, as well as other graduate funding resources. So our first recommendation is to plan your strategy, your search strategy, and starting small and local. So for current or prospective Fulton students, the Fulton specific fellowship should be your first stop. Those fellowships are only open to Fulton students, which means your chances of receiving funding are higher with fellowships open than with fellowships open to the entire university or to multiple institutions. Next, we recommend exploring ASU Scholarship Universe, which includes other internal ASU scholarships or fellowships. And again, ASU specific scholarships typically offer better odds than those open nationally because the pool is smaller. Beyond that, consider industry specific resources. There may be opportunities available through your major, professional associations, student organizations, and some organizations offer scholarships exclusively to their members. And finally, once you've explored these options, you can turn to general search engines. And while these sites offer opportunities, they also attract a larger applicant pool. So that's why we recommend starting small and working outward. Timing is everything. Tip 2. So here you see our timeline for fellowships, specifically Fulton's fellowships. So the application opened yesterday. You can access those opportunities now. And on this closes on March 15th. This is the engineering fellowship deadline. Applications must be complete by this date to be considered, and late or incomplete applications cannot be accepted. During March is a great time for you to explore other opportunities outside of the Fulton Schools of Engineering. Keep your eyes open in the scholarship universe, look at other opportunities that we explained earlier. And in June, we will be notifying fellowship recipients if they have been awarded. And then on to mid-August, that is when we plan to get scholarships applied to the next year's charges in your account. So most of the work required on your end happens before the academic year begins. So missing deadlines can mean missing out on funding for the entire year. So keep your eyes open for that. So now let's talk about fellowships specifically to Fulton. As I said, the engineering general fellowship application opened yesterday with the initial deadline of March 15th. Students must apply by the deadline for consideration, and generally scholarship awards apply to the upcoming academic year 26-27. This year, all Fulton Fellowship applications have moved to ASU Scholarship Universe. They're no longer using, if you applied last year, you would have applied through the engineering portal. This year, we are online using Scholarship Universe, a web-based portal, their application. So if you applied in previous years, please note this is where you'll go to now. Strongly recommend completing the general fellowship application, and this single application will consider you for a range of opportunities. Yes, we share there that we have 30 unique graduate fellowship opportunities. So inside the application, you'll answer essay prompts, including personal statement, prior undergraduate and graduate studies, a justification for your award, your research interest, which is really important to really dig down into some detail there, publications, intellectual property that you might have, financial needs statement, and if required, you are able to upload supporting documents. Although at this time, the fellowship application does not require that. So it's really important to be really clear and don't forget, leave anything out on those during that information. I'll get into that a bit more. And again, applications must be submitted by the March 15th deadline. We do have some standalone applications, and they have different criteria, which is why they're not included in the general fellowship application. And you match to the scholarship. You'll see if you match to it, and you review the criteria and decide whether to apply. These include the Gerald Farron Memorial Scholarship, which is open to Masters and PhD students, Herbold ASU Graduate Engineering Scholarship, which is for Masters students in Computer Engineering and Computer Science, and the Nicholas V. Findler Memorial Fellowship, which is for PhD in Computer Science. So don't forget to look out for some opportunities outside of the general application. Fellowship programs overview. So these are private fellowships. These are privately funded opportunities through annual gifts or endowments accounts housed at the ASU Foundation. These are gifts coming from private individuals or companies. Again, there are 30 unique fellowships awarded in 25-26. These range from $1 to $10,000, and you can view individual fellowship criteria online, and you'll see that in the. You can get some information there on our website, where the link's below. And we will be sharing this deck, right, Gabby?
We share a handout after the presentation with all of these links. So you'll have access to the exact web pages that we share.
Thank you. So some examples of awarded scholarships and fellowships, you can see listed there. So there's a wide variety, again, different criteria. So please check it out. Dig around in scholarship universe, and you'll be able to find these opportunities and see if you match to the criteria. The Herbold ASU Graduate Fellowship. This is an opportunity open to master's level students pursuing a degree in computer science or computer engineering with a minimum GPA of 3.5. Financial need is considered, but the application is open to international students. So we do have opportunities for international students through these fellowships. Common, frequently asked questions. Is a FAFSA required? So the Fulton Schools of Engineering offers both merit and need-based opportunities. And while the FAFSA isn't required, it must be considered for some need-based opportunities. Students may also indicate need in their financial needs statement. So it's really important to include as much information as you can in that application. And we definitely welcome applications from international students. And while each award has unique criteria, such as Arizona residency or financial need, that may exclude international students, these are not requirements for all awards. So please note, international students should apply for a general fellowship application. And you, in your essay, make sure you are clear about your financial need, the status of your financial need. Fellowship amounts vary considerably, as I mentioned earlier. So the average award amount is $3,000, with somewhere between $1,000 and $5,000. Some as small as $1,000, but we do have an opportunity which is at $10,000. Gabby, shall I leave you to hand over here?
Yeah, I can talk about the FAFSA. So, something we do like to point out to students is that you may see the FAFSA as a requirement for certain scholarship or fellowship applications. However, it should be noted that most international students are not eligible to fill out the FAFSA because it is open to domestic students and considers them for federal aid. So as an international student, if you see this, you don't have to worry about submitting that application. And again, our Fulton Fellowship general fellowship application does not require the FAFSA to apply, but we just want to make you aware of what it is and why you may be seeing it in certain scholarship applications. But again, it is not required to apply and be considered for Fulton fellowships.
Thank you. And I'll just do the next couple of slides and then Gabby will speak to the scholarship essay in a couple of minutes. So let's talk about Scholarship Universe. This is new for us this year, and we've seen a great response through our undergraduate scholarship, which just recently closed. So basically, this is open year round, and there are 300 plus opportunities, like it says there. So it's definitely worth checking back throughout the year in case opportunities do come up. But basically you go in and you will, actually that's on the next slide, isn't it? But so an overview of Scholarship Universe is, it features internal and external scholarships from a variety of funding sources. And this is, we've put the link in there for you to get to this this page. Some of you may have already checked it out. So you'll create an academic profile in Scholarship Universe, and here you'll answer questions regarding your background, your major, academic level, and enrollment level. It's pretty straightforward. Then Scholarship Universe will save those, and that will just stay in there in your profile. And you can adjust anything at any time. But this makes it really accessible and easy to manage. Each question is tied to at least one scholarship in the portal. So the more questions you answer, the more scholarship opportunities you'll potentially be matched with. That means that Scholarship Universe will look across every opportunity and let you know if what you've answered matches that criteria for that particular scholarship, and it will tell you which ones. And then students must apply to matches to be considered for scholarship funding. Just completing an academic profile in Scholarship Universe does not make you, is not an application for a scholarship. You have to take that next step to apply for the scholarships individually. I think I've spoken to most of this. Here you see an example of 3 of our opportunities. I think these are undergrad. Yes, I think they're undergrad, but you can see how here it says the scholarships that are listed, and you can see if you match to them. And it also consider need-based opportunities and industry-related fields. So through the globe icon, we'll take them. Sorry, ASU opportunities are denoted by the school icon, and external to ASU opportunities show through the globe icon. And be sure to explore, but make sure you realize that if you're in the globe icon, those are outside. So I'll hand over to Gabby, and she'll speak to now the scholarship essay.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Julie, for sharing those general scholarship and fellowship search tips, and especially going into our Fulton specific opportunities. So now that you know how to find and apply for different opportunities, we'll talk more about the scholarship essay and how to improve your scholarship application. So another big tip that we like to emphasize to students is the importance of the scholarship essay. Um, so as we talked about earlier, many opportunities within Fulton have different criteria. So things like major and GPA, and many students will meet these minimum requirements for our opportunities. So your application and your essay is where you can really set yourself apart as a candidate for these awards. So in order to do this, we recommend that you take some time to review your accomplishments and see what can help you stand out in your scholarship essay. So for example, maybe you or your parent are in the armed services, maybe you're a first generation college student. If you have any specific research experiences or interests related to engineering, that's a great thing to include, as well as if you have goals to work in a specific industry within your field. And then lastly, any obstacles you face in pursuing your education, all of these things are great to include in your scholarship essay and can really help you stand out to our reviewers who are reading hundreds of different essays. So in addition, here are a few other tips that you may want to implement when writing your scholarship essay. So tip number one is to answer the question completely. So sometimes scholarship applications will ask you about multiple things. So I know as an example, with our personal statement question, it will ask you to describe your academic goals and your career goals. So if you were completing that question, you would want to make sure that you are answering both parts of the question and providing a well thought out answer for the scholarship reviewer. Tip number two is to know any word minimum or maximum requirements. So these may be present in a scholarship essay. So if there is a word minimum requirement, that might push you to include more details, make your response longer for the reviewers. However, if there is a word maximum requirement, that might encourage you to be more concise with your response, so only including the most important and relevant details in your scholarship essay. So if these are present in a scholarship application, you do want to just take note of this as you are writing your response. Tip number three is to start with an outline. So just like if you're writing an essay for a class, starting with an outline can help you begin your writing process, and it can also help you provide structure and focus to your scholarship essay response, and it can help ensure that you are hitting all parts of the question that you are answering. Tip number four is that your responses should be your own original writing. So oftentimes we get scholarship applications where students will use ChatGPT to write their whole entire scholarship application. And oftentimes these applications don't score as well. They're very vague. They don't include a lot of detail. So it can hurt the student rather than help them when it is compared to other students who do submit their own original writing. So while AI can be helpful for checking things like spelling and grammar, we do highly encourage you to submit your own original writing when submitting a scholarship application. Tip number five, kind of mentioned in the last point, is to always check spelling and grammar. So again, just like if you were submitting a assignment for a class, you always want to check your spelling and grammar before you submit that. Taking that extra step just goes to show that you did spend time and effort when writing your scholarship essay response, and it helps the reviewer to not be distracted by like a lot of spelling or grammar mistakes, and they can focus solely on the content of your scholarship essay and whatever you are including in that. And then lastly, if you are looking for additional feedback on how to improve your scholarship essay, we then recommend that you have at least two people read and offer any edits to your essay. And we recommend that these are people that you are close to, who know you as a student. So maybe a friend, a parent, or an advisor that you have worked closely with. those would be great people to help review your essay and offer any points to help improve it. And they could also help you remember like maybe a project you did or like uh, some club activity that you have engaged in. Just like maybe you forgot something that could help improve your essay, they would be the best sources for providing that feedback. So, something that is common in many scholarship applications is the personal statement. So, on the screen, you can see the personal statement that we include in all of our fellowship applications. So it says, describe your academic and career goals and what you believe impacted or led you to these goals. Briefly explain your vision of your professional life and goals after graduation from the university. So, like we mentioned before, many students will meet the minimum criteria for a scholarship or fellowship. So, the personal statement is really where you can set yourself apart from other applicants. So again, to start off, if you're unsure of where to begin, using an outline can really help you start crafting your response and can also help provide that focus and structure, since as you can see within our personal statement, we do ask about several different aspects. And then another thing to note or keep in mind is to know your audience. So for any of our Fulton fellowships that you may be applying for, your personal statement and entire application will be reviewed by Fulton faculty, academic staff, and our engineering scholarship donors. So in this case, when you are writing your essay responses, you'll want to focus on your specific engineering major as well as any relevant work or experiences that you have related to engineering. So any engineering related like internships, research experience, and things like that. Those are the things you will want to highlight in your application. And then if you are applying for like a different scholarship, so maybe something that is need-based, or an external scholarship that's like focused on community service or leadership, then those are the experiences that you will want to highlight in that application. So for anything that you apply um, through Fulton, so any Fulton fellowship that you're applying for, you want to make sure you're highlighting your engineering experiences, since your application will be reviewed by those within engineering. You also want to give specific examples where you can, so mentioning specific experiences you have, specific research that you've done, projects, anything like that. And you want to avoid any vague or general statements when writing your application. And lastly, you want to keep your essay clear, concise, and compelling for the reviewer. So in addition to the personal statement, we do ask about other like aspects within our application. So again, like mentioned earlier, we'll ask about prior undergraduate or graduate studies, award justification, award justification. So we'll ask how you are a good fit to each fellowship that you're applying for, any research interests or experiences you may have, any publications, presentations, or intellectual property. If you've been awarded any past fellowship awards or assistantships, you can include those. Including any extracurricular achievements can help your essay stand out. And we do ask students to write a financial need statement. Again, since many international students are not eligible to complete the FAFSA, we do have an essay question where you are able to indicate that financial need. So now that we've gone over some scholarship essay tips, I'll talk more about some additional financial resources beyond scholarships that you may be interested in, or maybe you're already a recipient of. So, some other ASU scholarships that many graduate students have questions about are these two scholarships on the screen. So, the Fulton Schools Graduate Scholarship and the NAMU University Scholarship. So, for graduate students, if you are awarded these scholarships, they are one-time awards for the student's first two graduate semesters. So it's a one-time award. It's not renewable, unfortunately. but they are only awarded upon admission. So if you were a recipient or if you are a recipient of these scholarships, you'll get like a typical scholarship award letter. So in that letter, it will have this same information, but these are just things to keep in mind as you progress through your degree, since these are not renewable. So if you are looking for that additional funding for your second year, we highly encourage you to apply for other opportunities. So kind of similar to my last point, the renewal criteria for scholarships and fellowships does differ. So these are not renewable, and there's no application for these scholarships, but something unique about our Fulton fellowships is that you are able to reapply each year for consideration. So that's something to keep in mind as you are looking for funding for the upcoming year. So for any scholarship that you are a recipient of, it's very important to keep in mind any renewal criteria or just to ensure that you are meeting the requirements for that scholarship. So in addition to Fulton Fellowship and graduate opportunities, the ASU Graduate College has many other funding opportunities for students. So they have their own awards and fellowships process. So you're always welcome to apply for those in addition to our Fulton Fellowships. They also have a lot of information about graduate appointments. So things like TA and RA positions really help students get that educational funding. So if you are interested in those opportunities, I would recommend looking to the graduate college for more information about that. And then lastly, they have just general funding information for graduate students since it can be different from many undergraduate processes. So here are some examples of just two fellowships offered through the Graduate College. So they do have more than this, but these are two that we like to highlight. So the first one is the Graduate College Enrichment Fellowship. So this is an award to help fund incoming students, and it's open to both master's and doctoral students. So something to note with these two awards is that students do have to be nominated by faculty or someone within their area. So for the 26-27 year, so the next academic year, the nomination deadline for this particular fellowship is February 6th, so that is upcoming. So for any incoming students, this is a great thing to keep in mind, or if you know someone who will be attending ASU in the future, this is just a good thing to know if you are looking for that funding for your first year. And then second is the Completion Fellowship. So this is a merit-based award for any students who are approaching graduation. So it helps support graduate students who are on-campus students in their last semester of their program. So for any students who are coming up on their graduating semester, this is a good one to keep in mind. Or if you're just starting out, again, like once you approach graduation, this is a good thing to look into. And that nomination deadline for the upcoming academic year is March 6th. So you can read more about these two fellowships on the Graduate College website listed below, but they do have many fellowship opportunities beyond this. So again, it's a great resource for ASU graduate students. And then, like I mentioned before, they do have more information about graduate appointments, which many students use to help fund their education. So what we recommend to students is that building direct relationships with faculty is your best way of finding these open opportunities. And most of these opportunities are for doctoral level graduate students. So that's something to keep in mind for any PhD students. Looking to your faculty to see if they are aware of any open opportunities. And then something to note is that students are able to seek out these opportunities within their department, but also outside of their department. So the best way to find out about these open TA and RA positions are through faculty. But again, you can read more about that process at the link on this slide. So also listed on our website are external fellowship opportunities. So kind of similar to ASU Scholarship Universe, how it has external opportunities through outside organizations. We do also have different fellowships listed on our website that are offered through external opportunities, but you may be interested in as a graduate student. So this is just another place to explore fellowship opportunities that are open to graduate students. However, they are open to multiple universities, so it may be a larger applicant pool versus something that you may find through our application or something that's internal to ASU. So we do still recommend first applying for Fulton fellowships and then anything ASU related, and then from there branching out to these external fellowship opportunities. So some examples of external fellowships that have been awarded to ASU students in the past are shown here. So the Qualcomm Innovation Fellowship for North America is an example of one that's open to both PhD and master's students. So students are asked to submit a proposal on any innovative idea of their choice that is related to engineering. And students that are awarded this fellowship receive financial benefits as well as mentorship by Qualcomm. So that's a great opportunity if you're interested in that. Typically, the application will open in November and the first deadline occurs in December for the upcoming academic year. So unfortunately, this deadline has passed for the 26-27 year, but it is a good thing to keep in mind for next year if you are interested in submitting a proposal to their application. And then secondly, we have the Google PhD Fellowship Program. So this is specifically for PhD students who are doing work or research regarding computer science or any related field to that. And for this application, PhD students must be nominated by their university. So that would, again, be through like faculty or whoever you are working with in your academic department. And that application will typically open in March and closes in May, as we've seen with past years. So for the upcoming academic year, I would recommend going back to that website around March to see what date their application will open if you are interested in that. And again, that is only for PhD students. So in addition, we have other funding opportunities listed on our website. So things like MORE, which is designed to help engineering students get specific research experience through their department. So students who participate in that are eligible to receive a stipend of $1,500. So that's another funding option, as well as paid tutoring and student employment. So ASU has many opportunities for students to work on campus. So paid tutoring is one example. And then in the student employment job search, you are able to see other different student worker positions that you may be eligible for. So again, here is that website for students to find different ASU hourly and off-campus employment positions. So you can read more about that and see what is open and what you may be interested in. And then something that we do like to point out for international students is CPT and OPT options. So we do have a link with more information, but just briefly, CPT is it allows F1 students to complete an unpaid or paid internship. And these students must have completed at least one academic year of full-time enrollment before being eligible for these opportunities. And then OPT allows international students to gain off-campus work experience in their field of study before or after completion of your degree. So just keeping these options in mind for any students who may have like an outside internship or work opportunity related to engineering. These are great ways to, again, get additional funding and get that experience for like your professional development. And then for any questions about CPT or OPT, we recommend that students contact ISSC for more information, since they do work directly with students who are participating in these programs. So lastly, support is available. So if you have any scholarship or fellowship questions throughout the year, we always encourage students to email our office at engineeringscholarships@asu.edu so we can help answer questions that are regarding Fulton specific scholarship and fellowship opportunities, as well as general, just like scholarship questions, any financial questions. We can always help with that. And if you have a complex question where you would like to speak with a member of our team, we do offer appointments. So students can make appointments to meet with a member of our team on our website. Um, and then here, the students.engineering.asu.edu link is just our general website where we have a lot of information that we included in the presentation. So links to outside scholarship search engines, tips on how to improve your scholarship essay, and things like that. And then here are a few of the links that we mentioned during the presentation, but like we said earlier, we will be sending out a handout with all of the important links that we shared during today's presentation. So now, if there's any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or unmute yourself. If you have any questions regarding fellowships, anything that we talked about, we're happy to answer any questions. So we have a question, when will more be open for applications? So I would recommend, since it's not managed by our team directly, going to this link on the screen, and then from there, clicking on the link that will direct you to their website, just to see like when the next time you should be looking, or the next time you should be applying for that opportunity. I'm just not too sure since we don't directly manage it, but their website should have more information.
All right, thank you, Gabby and Julie, for the presentation and for the very useful information. So we are gonna stay here for a couple more minutes. If you have any questions, just use the Q&A function, the Q&A box to put your questions there. But if you don't have any questions, you are free to go. Thank you so much for joining our webinar, and we will be sharing a handout very soon to all of you. All right, Peter, you should be able to talk right now.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so thanks for having me. I didn't join that early, so I might have missed this part, but I'm wondering if last academic year, the TSMC fellowship was given out, or whether it wasn't, and if it wasn't, could you guys let us know if there was a reason for it, and also let us know if it is available this year. Thank you.
Yeah, I can answer that. The TSMC fellowship has not been available, and we do not have any additional information at this time, but as soon as we do have any additional information, we will advise students, but no, it has not been available for TSMC currently.
Sure, thanks.
to print. It's asked, I saw my intended major in Scholarship Universe, alternate field as Civil, Environmental, Sustainable Engineering PhD. I saw a scholarship for structural engineering student, which is my area of concentration. The scholarship requirement is that I be civil engineering PhD.
Yeah, for that one, so the way Scholarship Universe is set up is depending on the scholarship, it will only be open and available to students within that specific major. And the information or some of the information that Scholarship Universe pulls is directly from your student record. So I would recommend that you email our office with a screenshot if it is a Fulton scholarship, so we can help assist you from there. Like if your major is correct, but it's not letting you apply, we can research further. Um, but if it's not a Fulton scholarship, then you may want to just look at whoever is the contact for that specific listing in Scholarship Universe. But if it is a Fulton scholarship, emailing engineering scholarships with a screenshot of what you see on your end, I think can help us look into it further for you. And then what kind of financial document slash statement can be submitted to prove financial need? So, like we mentioned before, in our general fellowship application, we don't require any supporting documentation. So it's just answering that essay response question about any personal or financial obstacles is all that we will look at. So just detailing that, including whatever you are comfortable with including is how we will kind of gauge that information. So it's really dependent on what you as a student want to include in your essay response. So there's no sort of like document or anything that you need to submit. It's just the essay.
All right, I don't see more questions coming. So thank you, Gabby and Julie, again for the presentation and for answering all our student questions. As I said, if you don't have any more questions, you are free to go, but we are gonna stay here for just 1 more minute, just in case you have any more questions. But thank you all for being here and joining our webinar today.
Yes, thank you all for joining and thank you, y'all, for helping organize this webinar for students.
Yeah, of course. All right, I think no more questions, but if you have any questions, you can, take picture of the screen. We have the engineering scholarships office, their contact information there. So if you have any questions, please feel free to schedule an appointment or just email them or just call them. They are there for you. So please feel free to reach out to them. And thank you everyone again for being here. And I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Thank you.